Hey, it's Jeff Zito, and thank you again for checking out another episode of the Celebrity Jobber Podcast. You know, some of these guys, it's just like a big break out of the blue, which turns them into a star. Others had little breaks along the way and gradually worked up to what they wanted to become. You can follow on Instagram, celebrity_jobber_podcast. Also, youtube.com/the@celebrityjobber. Streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe. Would love a 5-star rating, and please leave a review. Past guests are also on celebrityjobber.com. My next guest I met when he was first coming up way back in the day. He was a young actor-comedian. I was a younger morning radio DJ, and we really hit it off. He's been in movies like Roll Bounce, Tropic Thunder, Lottery Ticket, and has a new series on BET. What else is Brandon T. Jackson involved with? Does he have any other outside interests or businesses? We'll find out. Actor-comedian Brandon T. Jackson is my guest this week on Celebrity Jobber.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. What if these celebrities weren't famous? What would they have become? What was their first job? We're about to find out.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, man? You know, you don't remember this, but it was early on in both of our careers. You were young stand-up. I was a younger radio DJ, and my friend owned a comedy club, still does, in South Florida, and you went to perform there.
Off the comedy club?
That's right, Brian Spina, right. And,
Yeah.
And me and you had an incredible conversation, like a high-level conversation about race, and it was like right around Tropic Thunder. And looking where we are today, Brandon, do you think, because I thought that movie would never, ever be able to be made again. What do you think now? I mean, a lot different than it was 6 months ago, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it's time to do Tropic Thunder too.
You know, Hollywood has changed so much probably in the time that you've been in the business, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What was the biggest change?
Yeah, it has. You know, it's a lot of I don't know. I think everyone is really, I think it's a balance. I think everyone's really sensitive now to everybody, and it actually it became a little, it's like almost you can get so liberal that you're conservative and get so conservative that you're liberal. You guys are balance all around. I think humans got to come with intent.
Right.
And with good intentions, with the right vibrations, I mean, it shouldn't be a problem to do things that are racy anymore, because that's actually what kind of identified us and made us learn from each other, our differences, by actually the comedy and actually the stereotypes and the things that the perspectives on how we see everybody. Not saying that it's always true, but there was always some truth to these things where it made us identify to different people. Now, it is racy now. It is dicey. We're like, oh, you're not supposed to say that. Oh, you can't, But it's, it always started out in our culture, our African-American culture, where we always used our uncomfortable trauma to teach other races on what we were going through. And then it became cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now it's cool. Now it's like a rock album. It's not as like everyone is familiar with the African-American experience, and then it becomes other communities want to have the same thing, and then it becomes like, okay, who's doing what? What do we do? You see what I'm saying? So I think at this point we're getting to a place where I think everyone's just like, yo, are you a good human being?
Right.
If your intention is to hurt people, then I think everyone is kind of like, well, F you. If your intention is to be opinionated, to bring people together, I think people are more open. So I think now we're getting to a place where it's not what you are, it's who you are. So I think as long as we know who you are and why you're doing it, I think people have more leniency for racy and stuff coming up.
Agreed. Well said. Brandon, when I was looking at first chatting with you, I just kind of looked over the notes, and it said the family business, and I started looking at your bio a little bit, and I go, oh, wow, I was confused. I have since seen the trailer, and it looks great. It reminds me of BMF, which is one of my favorite shows on TV right now. But
thank you.
But but when I saw originally, I said, "Oh, the family business." I found out that your mother and father were preachers, and I thought this was going to be like a documentary on maybe you starting to be a preacher. So I was I was completely wrong about that. But tell me a little bit about growing up in Detroit with mom and dad and your grandfather all being in the Jesus business.
Hey, listen, you can't escape it. I tell you that. And as much as I've tried, I've learned that actually I've had a lot of peace in my upbringing and my roots, and I've had a lot of successes with keeping my roots. So the moment I kind of went away from that, I learned that my life kind of went into this spiral of chaos. And as I stick closer to my roots, it aligns things. So, I tested both models, and, I wouldn't be surprised if I end up kind of like Denzel Washington later on in life, getting a minister degree. I wouldn't mind that,
Right on.
I really don't want to do it, but I think that it is what it is. I think it's kind of destiny at this point. But yeah, I really don't want to be into ministry. That's why I kind of ran to Hollywood. But at the same time, I feel like there was so much good things and peaceful love that I dealt with in that upbringing, and so much love and so much companionship that I was able to thrive in that environment. And even in Hollywood, I was able to thrive in Hollywood because of that rooted, grounded in spirituality and God. So I think that really grounded me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It keeps me in line. And as I get older, I start to learn that there's not a lot of risk you want to take when you have children and different things. Yeah. So you got to really focus on how did your father get through? How did his father get through? And start following those pathways. And it's not easy. It's not easy doing it.
Right.
When you have consistently, all your peers are in a place where they want to have a great time, but you get to a place where how much fun do we need to have? So, and so we call that fun, and
right.
Just kind of grow up a little bit. But it is definitely different being the pastor's son in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would
bet. Thing.
I bet it would. I bet it would be.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I was kind of surprised to see how they supported you. But before all this, Brandon, can you tell me about your very first job, like before Hollywood in Detroit? What was your very first job, paying job?
I was a comedian is the only job I've ever had.
Really?
I've only been a stand-up comic.
So your first job?
Yeah, my first job was comedy. I would do comedy clubs to make money.
Wow.
Do little church gigs, and I would do little comedy clubs.
And you were 14?
14.
Wow. Holy crap.
Yep.
And you did work at a radio station in Detroit growing up, didn't you?
Yeah, I interned there. Yep.
Okay.
I interned there, and I was called the Kid Comedian
really?
At the time. Yeah, it's funny. I would do Sunday mornings, gospel, then I would do Q93 DRQ. This was a radio station in Detroit at the time. I would do that. There was a pop station. So I would do the gospel station on Sundays and the pop station in just like my real life. The pop station in they used to have pop stations, urban stations, different programming. So, yep.
What do you think your big break was? Was there a particular moment, a particular role, a particular phone call that you got? You left Detroit, you went to Hollywood to become a star, comedian / actor. Can you think when everything changed with one particular moment in time for you? And what was it?
I think I had a couple breaks. I think I keep having breaks, I had a couple breakouts. Of course, my first breakout was Roll Bounce. No one had ever seen me before. That was my first studio film. Percy Jackson to me was a breakout. Tropic Thunder was a breakout. Even to me, The Family Business was a breakout. No one's ever seen me lead a drama series. It's just different. Now, if you really look back at my career and really go and look at what I've done, it's really a lot of people don't pay attention to these things. There's a lot out here, but I've done a lot of versatile work in different markets and in different different places and different social groups. I would say relatability to everybody, and from book series to even this book series. This is the book series. I like doing book series too because it has an insulated fan base in it, and it gives you a chance to see the character from the book side of it and to see how people react to watching your character on screen from the book. So, I had a couple breaks, man. I actually have multiple breaks. I can't even. I think my comedy special is going to be a breakout because I've been gone for so long, and I came out so young. I think this is even like a reintroduction to me, to the world. I think people don't know the grown Brandon D. Jackson. I think they know a kid.
Yeah. I think you're right. And the Family Business New Orleans, which I just watched a trailer 2 days ago on online. It's going to be on BET, and I mentioned earlier when we were talking how my favorite show on TV is BMF, and that's a show based out of Detroit. It's a Detroit show. This is about a family in New Orleans. And can you tell me a little bit about this family and the family business?
Yeah, Family Business. We own a casino down in New Orleans, and the whole drama starts out when I don't want to tell the story, but if you read the book, you know what happens. Family Business New Orleans, you know what happens and why we end up going. I can tell you this much: it says in the trailer, we end up going to war with another family, and as you can see, that this is a different environment that you've never seen on TV. With African Americans, you've never seen African Americans on TV on casinos. I've never seen that. I mean, maybe Harlem Nights,
right?
But that's it. When have you seen that consistently?
No.
So the Midnight Blues, I own the Midnight Blues, and I'm kind of like the Godfather. I'm kind of like Al Pacino's character, where he was the next one up, and he's learning how to run the business, even when the business has to. He's becoming the man in season 1. He's not the man yet, but he's becoming the man, and he's learning how to make the right decisions for the family business.
And speaking of family business in real life, Brandon, any outside interests like business stuff that you do that people don't know about? Do you invest in stuff, or do you have other businesses outside? One business I'm about to do. If you look at my Instagram, I have some shoots that I might be starting a little mini custom suit line, but we're trying to figure that one out. I mean, the business model and how we can give. And maybe let me ask you a question. Yeah. Would you pay a subscription model if you can get 2 custom-made suits a month? What's that were fit to you perfectly? How much is the subscription? Well, how much would you pay for 2 suits a month? Well, 2 suits a month, I'd say. I mean, if they were special suits, I'd have to say, maybe $1,500 for 2 really nice suits. No, isn't that what how much do suits go for? About $600-700? No, I'm saying, so you do $1,500 a month. No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that a month. I'm just kind of, I'm trying to price together how much suits cost. That's what we're trying to figure out. Like, is there a subscription model? I don't want to ruin your business. You'll go bankrupt if you listen to me. I know. I'm asking. No. As a consumer, what can consumers afford, and what's our target? And that's been our big deal, trying to find if you can have a custom-made suit and clientele. You think $500 a month is too much? Yeah, I think it could be per month. Could be a lot. But you're looking for a different kind of clientele. We don't know. So that's been our holdup. But if you go online, look at my suits, my team, we make it from scratch. So very cool. The Family Business New Orleans, the series debuts on BET. And how many episodes in the series, Brandon? We have 8 right now, and we're excited about doing more for the next season. So we got another season, so we're excited about that. It looks great, man. It really does. And good luck to you. It's been so good kind of catching up with you. Like I said, it was a long time ago, but I remember this very special interaction we had for about 15 minutes, and we just had a really great conversation when you went down to South Florida. Are you doing stand-up anymore? I got a comedy special coming out. We'll probably circle back around for this comedy special, but yep, I got a comedy special coming out this year. Excellent. Later this year, yep. All success to you. I hope you figure out the subscription model and the suit business. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more help, but like I said, listen to me, and that business we're trying, man. That business will go bankrupt if you listen to me. Brandon T. on Celebrity Jobber. Kind of funny that he was coming out with this series, The Family Business, and initially I thought it was going to be like a docuseries about his life because his mother, his father, his grandfather, they're all preachers from Detroit. But that's not the case. The series is about a black family owning casinos in New Orleans. Brandon didn't rule out at some point in his life maybe reverting to the family business, the real family business, and becoming a preacher. He said he won't rule it out, but it gave him good roots, kept him out of trouble when he was younger growing up in Detroit. Not to mention his first job in comedy. He was a stand-up comedian. That was his first job, performed at his father's church along with other comedy clubs. He said he did intern for a radio station in Detroit back when he was in his teens, but then left Detroit for Los Angeles to become a star. So his big break, he mentioned a few of them, but it seems like what really put him on the map was his role in the movie Roll Bounce. And he also mentioned Percy Jackson, Tropic Thunder as being really important movies for him in his career as well. And he's designing custom suits and trying to figure out a subscription model type business for those custom suits. I hope I didn't screw him up with my bad advice. I tried to warn him. He's a really cool guy. Brandon T. Jackson, check him out on BET, the new series, The Family Business. So thanks again for checking out another episode of the Celebrity Jobber Podcast, streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Past guests are up on CelebrityJobber.com. Please subscribe. Would love a 5-star rating and leave a review. You never know what these celebs might have turned into if not for their big break. I don't know. I don't think Brandon T. Jackson would have been a minister, his real family business. Stand-up comedian, his very first job. So some people were just born to be a star. Anyway, thanks again for listening. And until next week with another new episode of Celebrity Jobber, I'll see you then. I'm Jeff Zito.